Yeah, you and Tyler, and then me and Dylan. That's like that's a good pairing. Me and Dylan are probably very equally fit, and you and Tyler are probably very equally fit.
Probably.
I mean, the only reason why we're equally fit right now is because I have a broken leg.
Wow. Funny award, too.
What up, party people? Welcome back for another episode of the Bonk Bros podcast. According to Drew, everyone loves the long ones, so that's what we're giving you this week. We're talking all kinds of things like World Cup downhill and XCO racing from this past weekend at Val di Sole. We got some updates from the UCI on new regulations that they're putting out. Like, seriously, do you really have to run wider bars? That seems crazy. We got some new product drops from SRAM that we're going to be talking about, and then we hit some rapid fire questions at the end. Before we get into the show, I just want to give a quick shout out to all of our supporting sponsors because we really couldn't do this podcast without the help from you guys and our supporters. We got SILCA coming on, as always, with that 10% discount code BONKBROS made me do it. That's right. The latest code is BONKBROS made me do it for 10% off at SILCA. Head over there for all your waxing and bike wash needs. We got Bike Tires Direct. We love these guys. They are just such a seamless partner for us. You can literally go there and get anything you want for your bike, including all of your tire needs. So head over to Bike Tires Direct today and use the code BONKBROS for 10% off. We got Bolt Skin and Shave back in the game. They're bringing us a code, 15% off, BROS15. Head over to Bolt today and check out their latest black edition for their performance razor, and they've got other shave products that you can hop on as well. And another big shout out to one of our newer sponsors, Scarborough Bicycle Accident Law. The timing of that couldn't have been more serendipitous because Bicycle Accident Law came on right when DJ got smoked by that truck on his training ride and broke his leg. So if you ever find yourself in that kind of situation where you just need some lawyer advice, you can always hit up Scarborough Bicycle Accident Law. And last but not least, we got KETONEAID coming in clutch with all those ketone ester products. So make sure to pick up yours today. Got mine right here. I always use it whenever I'm recording these episodes. It helps me stay focused. It gives me some energy, especially when I haven't been sleeping that great these days. KETONEAID helps me push through. Oh yeah, and don't forget to sign up for our Patreon, where you can submit your questions and get those bumped up to priorities. Speaking of questions, if you have any of those or feedback for the show, you can drop us a note at bonkbrospodcast@gmail.com or hit up the Bonk Bros Instagram page. All right, let's get on with the show and get this party started.
What happened to heat training?
I'm the addict, dude. If I'm just up here frying my brain, that ain't good.
All right, well, all of our listeners,
in the basement.
We apologize at the front of the episode because Drew's got his AC unit on, and you can definitely hear it.
Drew is apparently the most heat-trained guy in all of gravel racing, and yet he can't spend an hour and a half without his AC on.
In the attic. Have you ever been? No. You haven't, Dylan, because you don't know anything about your own house. You've never been in the attic in the summer. It's death.
Dude, you should have built your office studio in the ground. You could have built a bunker.
And it would just stay like 67 degrees year round, like perfect temperature.
One time I stayed at Drew's house and I stayed in his basement because that's where his guest bedroom is. And it was like probably 37 degrees down there.
Fahrenheit or Celsius?
Fahrenheit. That's so for those who don't use Fahrenheit, who live in other countries, that's really cold.
Yeah, basically freezing.
Dylan's a pansy. He's so you're so full of it.
It was so cold down there.
I prefer to sleep down there if I could.
All right, well, don't tell your wife that.
Or do. Maybe she's for it.
Probably.
Did you guys watch Mountain Bike World Cup this weekend?
Bro, don't know his name, but Denali, who goes in like third without a chain. I'm only a week old on my downhill.
A week old.
I'm only 1 week old in my birthing of a downhill fan, and I skipped every World Tour race on YouTube to watch that downhill race.
Dude, you're that big a downhill World Cup fan now?
It was rad.
Dude, when you said Denali, I was like, what athlete is Drew?
What is
he's the French downhill natty champ.
Yeah, what is his name though? I watched it.
He didn't have a chain. He snapped it in like the second turn, and he still got third.
Yeah.
What a bro.
No, we need to say his name right now. Why can't I remember his name?
De Bruyne?
Loic Bruni?
No, it wasn't Loic Bruni. Adam, look up the World Cup downhill results.
Thibaut Deprella?
Yeah, Thibaut Deprella. Yeah.
Deprella.
Yes.
So Drew,
You're close.
You've only been following World Cup downhill for a week for some reason. So I don't know if you know this, but do you know that a World Cup downhill race has been won with no chain before?
Yeah, by Danny Hart. Is that
no, not Danny Hart.
Oh, they referenced him. That's the only other downhill video I've ever seen is, how does Danny sit down with balls that big? Danny Hart.
The classic.
That's like the most epic downhill video ever.
Yeah. Well, second place of that is Aaron Gwynn winning, I think it was Leo Gang with no chain.
Really?
Yeah. And Nico Mullally got, I think, fourth or something at a world championship downhill race with no chain.
You're not doing that in the short track race.
No. Although Blevins did win after dropping a chain.
Yeah, true.
He dropped a chain about that in that race?
No, we taled about that. It was a few weeks ago.
So Nico was actually on the commentary when this past weekend for when Thibaut Deprella dropped his chain. And they asked him, they're like, yeah, so like you've dropped your chain before in a race and did pretty good. So what's the deal? And he's like, yeah, it almost makes it, he said it almost makes it easier because you can't rely on pedaling out of corners. You have to focus so hard on getting everything exactly correctly. And obviously downhill courses are so steep that you can make it down a downhill course without pedaling a single time, except for maybe out of the start gate. So if you're focused the entire time on pumping like every little divot and hitting the corners perfectly, and you're never reliant on having to take a pedal stroke, he said somehow that actually makes it easier. I think I've even talked to him, and he said they did practice runs with no chains pretty frequently.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of like the single speed equivalent for XC racing. Where like if you go ride a single speed, it makes you more efficient.
Yeah. The other thing too is, so like the very last part of that downhill race is what they call like a pedaling section. It's basically wide open and you have to sprint. But obviously Thibaut Deprella couldn't sprint at all because he had no chain. So what he did is he was just tucking. He was super tucking as hard as he possibly could. And from what I saw from watching it, it looked like he lost absolutely no time doing that. Which, if you know anything about aerodynamics, is probably not that big a surprise. I mean, they're probably going like 40 miles per hour at that part of the course, and at that speed, like the aero losses are exponential. So the difference between a full-on standing sprinting position on a downhill bike and a super tuck position, like at 40 miles per hour, like I don't know what the watt savings on that is, but it's probably in the hundreds of watts.
Well, and I mean, what's their biggest gear? Probably like 30.
Oh, they definitely have a gear that
10.
they definitely are not spinning out. Like they properly gear the downhill bikes,
but they're winding up at like 130, 150 RPMs.
Sure.
So I'm just saying, like it's not like you're losing that much.
I would say it's more from the aero. Like
exactly.
Being completely aero tucked versus in a standing sprinting position, especially on a downhill bike with wide bars.
And how inefficient the pedaling efficiency is. Like,
sure.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he's onto something. Maybe the super tuck needs to come into the sprint finish of downhill.
There was like a brief period of time where downhillers were running power meters, because you would think that that's useful to know what your power out of the gate was and maybe your power out of certain corners were. And then honestly, they kind of just stopped doing that. And I think it's probably because guys were just winning with no chain. And they're like, well, how important is your power if you could just win a downhill race with no chain?
But Boost Bro still won.
So let me ask you this. All right, so if they created a category of downhill racing where you couldn't use a chain, would it still be called downhill bike racing, or would that be a whole separate sport? Like, is it still a bike if you don't have a chain?
Yeah, is it still a bicycle if you can't pedal it to go somewhere? That's a good question. I don't know. What qualifies as a bicycle?
I mean, two wheels for sure.
Yeah, but I'm assuming you need to be able to pedal it in order for it to go forward.
I don't know. Never thought about it before.
I mean, it's
like a strider.
On some of these courses, like, I don't think it'd be a disadvantage really. The only thing that would suck, obviously, is the initial pedal strokes out of the start gate.
Sure. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, you'd probably lose 5 seconds right there.
I will say too that, like, despite the fact that you can win a downhill race with no chain, downhillers are actually really freaking fit. Luca Shaw lives here in Brevard, and he'll do road group rides, and I've ridden on the road with him, and he'll be like nearly the strongest one in a road group ride.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's like the same with like motocross guys.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know, Drew. I'm glad I made you a fan of downhill racing.
Did you?
Yeah, it's just one more way I've influenced you.
Or did downhill mountain bikers like Brawley?
No, dude, because if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't even know about downhill mountain biking.
So Drew, did you watch the cross country racing at all?
Yeah, I watched it all. Highlights. You know, they even do a highlights for the short track race, which is only like a 20-minute race, and they still do a highlights, which is only like a 5-minute video.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Nothing happened in the short track. It was basically just Blevins lit him up for the last lap.
Yeah, what do you mean nothing happened, dude?
I mean, but like, I watched the highlights and it would skip 5 minutes, and it looked it was like you didn't even notice they skipped 5 minutes of it. It was just one massive group of people riding together.
I mean, it's kind of like a crit, right? Like you can skip around in a crit and it looks exactly the same, and it gets interesting in the last 3 laps, maybe.
Yeah. That's insightful. Thank you for that, Dylan.
Yeah. I mean, it was like actually shocking how much of a gap Blevins was able to pull. What do you think would have happened if MVDP was in that race?
His
Tyler just choked on his food.
I mean, the way that Blevins attacked, I was definitely thinking like that looks like a Vanderpool type of attack. Like when Vanderpool attacks, that's what happens. But Blevins did it.
So you're talking specifically the short track, Dylan?
Yeah, short track.
Yeah, the short track race. I mean, Blevins didn't win the XC race, so.
I actually haven't watched the XC race, so thanks for blowing it for me.
Yeah, you want a spoiler? He was 8th.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, let's talk about that after we talk about this hypothetical MVDP short track scenario.
Yeah, Tyler.
I mean, Vanderpool
choking
probably
underwater. Do you have a good take to give us?
If Vanderpool was there, he would have been the only one that could have matched it.
I would say it's like a Vanderpool 2.0 attack, because like if you see when Vanderpool's at his best and he throws down an attack, it's like instant separation. Like he gets that gap a lot quicker than Blevins did.
Bro, did you watch the race?
I did.
It was an instant separation.
Yeah,
it was not. It wasn't that big.
Oh,
it was big eventually.
Dude,
it wasn't
as
as quick.
He stood up,
as
he
Vanderpool.
dropped him.
Bro.
No, he didn't.
I mean, it wasn't that big, but that's because the speed was already so high.
Dude, he pried it open. Vanderpool comes in like a freaking nuclear bomb, and it just like instantly.
Dude, why?
So you're saying Vanderpool's
I didn't think you liked
attack would be
Vanderpool.
faster.
I was waiting for you to like diss on Vanderpool somehow.
Dude, I'm a converted
That's what I thought too.
Dude, you realize that Blevins got that gap? It was like a slight downhill.
That's what I was trying to say is like they were already going so fast. There's no way that anybody could have opened up a big gap.
Did he attack on the downhill into the uphill?
No, it was just all downhill and flat after that to the finish.
Yeah, I mean, it was impressive.
Oh, there we go.
Would have been second to Vanderpool though.
Oh, dang. Wow. All right.
Vanderpool would have come right over the top.
There's like a 50% chance that Vanderpool would have crashed and broke his own wrist, though.
Probably wouldn't have made it that far into the race.
Yeah. Was it five in a row now for Blevins? 5 short track victories in a row.
I think that's what they said. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're going 40K when he attacks.
Freedom units.
It's like 25 miles an hour.
Freedom units.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, they're going downhill. You realize that when Vanderpool gets an instant gap, it's always on a
It's usually on a false flat. Yeah, or a steep. Yeah, or steep
climb.
Yeah,
you know anything, dude? Prevost won all 3 world champs in the same year. Like, she's the boss. Tyler.
That's unimpressive.
Wait, what does that have to do with anything?
Because Tyler's usually just hating on people.
That was like 5 decades ago when they were all on 10-speed bikes.
Did I tell you? I don't think I had ever heard Prevost talk, and I heard her do an interview after a race, and I was like, dang, I think I like her a little less now. her voice might be like one of the most annoying voices I've ever heard. I'm serious. Have you heard her talk, Adam?
Yeah, plenty of times.
She's just like really soft spoken.
No,
I don't know about that. Yeah, it's just like
it's like she just sucked in a helium balloon and then she did the interview. I'm dead.
Wow.
Unless maybe she was sick. Maybe she was sick.
I thought you were going to talk about something she actually said, like something of substance.
No, literally just the sound of her voice.
Wow. You're probably the most shallow bonk bro.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
It's also just transition straight into how good looking Lance Hayden is. Right
okay,
now.
all right. See,
cover all of our bases.
I thought you were also going to say Pauline Ferrand.
This is what I'm talking about.
Drew, have you heard many French people talk in general?
Yeah, maybe it is just
because if the guys also sound like that too. I don't know.
So such a bummer if that's what DePrali said. Like if he did his interview after he got 3rd place without a chain and he just, I got the no chain and blah, blah, blah. That'd be so bad if that's what his voice sounded like.
That sounded almost Italian, but
yeah, I mean it's probably just a more masculine version of how Pauline sounded.
But just hardly.
I'm just gonna not listen. I'm just gonna not listen to interviews.
Wait, so I actually didn't see any kind of results or anything from the XCO race. So what happened to Blevins in that?
Like, why are we surprised though that you didn't see anything though?
He's building a shed.
I did watch the short track though.
Oh, okay.
A Chilean? Is that right? A Chilean guy won the. Yeah. I don't know any of the guys.
Puck
names.
Peterson won the women's race.
Oh,
sweet.
Puck. She doubled up this weekend. She's coming into some form.
Yeah, second perfect weekend of the season.
Samara Maxwell continuing to impress. That's sick. There's a girl, a woman. Man, I can't remember her name.
Samara, she was in the GP last year, wasn't she, Dylan?
No.
Oh, I think it's Nicole Kohler. Speaking of the Prevost tie, if you watch the short track for the women, Nicole Kohler has the diamond in her tooth, the way that Pauline used to.
Oh, really?
I'm bringing it back.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that like a style thing or?
Dude, I don't know. You should try it.
Yeah, you should do it, Dylan. You could pull it off.
I think so.
Like, do they have a replacement? It's like a replacement tooth.
No. It's just like a little diamond circle. Like in between the gap between their teeth or something.
Really? Like a wrapper, like with grills.
Yeah, but it's just on like your incisor.
Kind of not quite, but.
Is this a fashion thing that I'm completely unaware of?
Dude, I think you need to bring it to the US.
I've actually only ever seen like Prevost have it. I haven't seen anybody else.
And then watching the start, it was like, wait a second. When they were doing the call-ups for the short track for the women, they have them all stop so they can get like a close-up before they roll to the line. Nice. And I'm pretty sure it was Nicole Kohler I was like, whoa, does she have a diamond in her tooth?
Dude, how baller is like the huge banner that when Blevins won short track, they already had the banner of his like superhuman sized body on both sides of the banner. And I wasn't even watching the finish anymore. I'm just watching the TV screens that are the banner of the finish.
Yeah, well, they shoot those all before the season, but
where it wasn't live.
No, it's real time.
Blevins was somehow winning and posing.
Yeah,
but
Dizzle,
you're like,
remember when you were just like tagging along with me to the Lifetime photo shoot at Seattle? Remember they had me do all that random stuff?
All that random stuff. They're never going to use any of that footage.
Yeah.
That would be funny though if like they had that, but in the background, like you know how when you put on like a background on your camera, right? You can kind of see like if people are moving, it doesn't quite cover like everything in the background. You can kind of see little peaks of that. Okay, Adam will get this because
I actually do meetings.
Yeah, does meetings. What if they did that, but Drew was just like in the background, so you just see Drew's head like popping out behind Dylan? I can see this holds no weight for the two people that don't take video meetings. So
yeah, they have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, cool. Anyways,
you know what? I have a pretty big pet peeve. I hate the blur filter for video meetings.
I don't like it either.
It's just like, okay, see you, Tyler.
Nope. Just
Are you trying to put it on?
I was going to try to put it on. Yeah,
I was totally trying to put it on.
I just think it looks so tacky.
Yeah, why wouldn't you just straight up go Hawaii at that point?
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, if you're gonna do the blur, just go to Hawaii, sit on the beach,
Santa Marsha style,
drink some margaritas.
Okay, I don't do meetings, but like, what is going on? What is going on in the background of your room that you can't have people see what's happening?
Exactly, that's the thing.
I mean? Like,
yeah,
do you have like dead bodies hanging up or what?
Yeah.
I mean, if you have people around in the background, or maybe you just don't want to maybe you're just in a weird place that isn't, I don't know. You don't want people to see into your life.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
What do you, do you think you're an FBI agent? You got super secret, top secret clearance or something? You can't display what's on your back wall?
Maybe. Dude, like, what are you trying to have a work Zoom meeting from your sex dungeon? Like, what is
Yeah.
Maybe. So maybe the best acoustics in the house. We should all create a digital background of Dizzle's attic or furnace there. And then one day log in all from Dizzle's attic.
When whoever buys this house after me comes into this room,
sex addict,
they're going to think that that's what it was. Like 100%.
It's painted black.
It's all black. It has red carpet for the floor. It's just the most weird room you've ever seen.
That's funny.
In the men's race was like, I don't know how hot it was, but it must have been super hot based on the fact that all the riders were taking ice socks every other lap. But
it seems like a lot of people suffered.
Yeah. But yeah, Martin Vidare on the Specialized team came back from, I think he was somewhere kind of deeper in the top 10, but eventually
he
just
wasn't
rode
even
his
in
way back.
Yeah, he wasn't even in the frame. The throughout the race, there was probably three different guys that were off the front, and you're thinking, oh, they got it, and then they don't got it. Like somebody would catch them, or they'd blow up, or
so exciting. His lap report, he was 16th, 10th, 9th, 6th, 4th, 2nd, first.
Wow. Sick. That's awesome.
What a boss. Yeah. Did you see his victory salute?
Yeah, dude.
Was it ballin'? Let's see it. What does it look like?
I never seen any
two-hand grabbed his dick.
I've never seen somebody do that.
Did you not see?
Have you never watched the WWE?
Well, yeah, but not in a bike race.
Did you not see the guy that who won from? It was Tour de
straight
Suisse.
Up a WWE thing. He pulled a WWE on that.
Yeah, Tour de Suisse. He won the one of the sprint stages, and then gave it the old WWE suck it thing. Let me see. Great story. Hold on a second.
He was in 16th on the first lap. You think he had already knew how he was going to celebrate, or do you think that was just a spur of the moment? I'm going to grab it, and
I mean, you got to think about your celebrations, right?
Just didn't think about it.
You got to have that. You got to have that planned out.
Bro, do you ever think about your celebration?
What celebration? Oh, here we go. Tyler. Look at Tyler sharing the screen.
Okay,
Look at
cool.
that.
Yeah, I was trying to find it. Wait, I didn't see it.
Wait, it's coming.
Oh, it's coming up.
I
still.
just went
Oh.
a little
I
too
can't
far
help
back
but to
here.
think of like
He's got a big gap.
I can't
Oh
think.
yeah, dude.
Every time I see his jersey, all I think about is Texas.
It does
Looks
look like
the
it could be a Texas
flag.
jersey.
I mean, this is
Wow.
a very
All
right, let's go, son. Come on.
celebration rate.
Oh yeah, booyah, baby!
Oh my
That's awesome.
gosh.
Check out these nuts. Look at him.
And then he picked up his bike, and I was wondering, like, yeah, you usually don't like pick up your bike and celebrate like that on your first win.
Why not?
Dude, that's like
Maybe-
the time to celebrate like that.
Maybe like, yeah, I feel like it's a little.
When
too
you've got
much.
100 in the bag, man, you don't even care anymore.
When you're just Vanderpool, you just roll across the line and stop your watch.
Yeah, you
know?
probably
Yeah.
give your bike to the kid on the side.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Take
think
this.
we've talked about this before, but like, you definitely can't do this on your first World Cup win, right? On your first World Cup win, you got to act like you're excited. But I feel like if it's your like 50th World Cup win, I think the ultimate boss move is just crossing the line and stopping your Garmin or Wahoo, whatever you're sponsored by, and then just acting like you just finished a training ride, you know?
Or is the ultimate boss move to just ride straight through the finish and go out for your cool down lap? Like,
Yeah.
That's what I do when I'm pissed.
Actually,
exactly.
you know who
Straight
did that? You know who did that was Kristen Faulkner at the end of the Olympics.
Really? I don't remember
Do
that.
you remember that?
She just didn't. She like didn't. No, she didn't really celebrate. Like Remco, you know, picked up the phone and called somebody, and then hung it up and posed on the line and whatever. And then Faulkner, I think, because she was just so close to being caught by the chase group, she just sort of like rode through, and then she did her, you know, walk around with the flag afterwards, etc. But
Remco called Specialized and was like, "Why did your bike break on me 2 miles from the finish? I had to finish on this spare bike."
yeah. Yeah, dude, pretty exciting. I mean, Specialized has been dominating this year,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Every-
That's
every race. It's
have they lost a race?
Yeah, because they last week in Leogang, what's his nugget? Won. Czech rider.
Andre Sink.
It's Andre
yeah.
Sink won.
Oh, that was pre Dizzle mountain bike birth.
Yep.
You didn't go back and watch it though?
I should though.
Have you only been watching downhill?
No, I watched all of the men's races this past weekend.
Okay.
Wow, sexist.
Yeah, should have left that part out.
Speaking of watching all the things, did you guys watch all of the new regulations from the UCI that came out?
Man,
Oh, yeah, I was waiting
for us to talk
I
about
meant to
that.
look that. I meant to look that up before,
Dude,
So
the
what?
the handlebar rule came out like the day that
yeah.
we recorded last week. We
What
should have talked
is
about
the
it.
hour
handlebar-
after.
What
So
is
did
the rule, Tyler? You're the fact finder here.
Let me get my fact finding hat on here.
It's not just like a standard width. It's here. Whoa.
Oh,
okay.
wow.
We got the whole
Tyler,
thing
did you
here.
come prepared? You know you're
Sorry,
not allowed
guys.
to prepare for this podcast, dude.
Sorry. Yeah. So I believe okay.
So
let's
the
see.
inside of the hoods can't be any narrower than 32 centimeters.
Yep.
The 400 meter outside cannot be
Really?
shorter
You can't,
than
Yeah,
40.
so
you can't do shorter than 40 mil bars?
No, 40
Width.
centimeter outside width. So that'd be like 38s, basically. Most of
That's
them are
still-
measured center to center.
All the bars I have are all narrower than that.
Yeah, you're a cheater.
I mean, these rules also don't apply to you, Drew. You don't do
It-
UCI races.
Yeah.
It also has to be 32 centimeters between the hoods. I saw a video. Yeah, so they talked about later down here, like, you know, how that already kind of calls into issue like this. The Bontrager one piece is only legal in the 44 centimeter width.
Wow. Yeah,
because
I mean,
of the flare on them.
It must be, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what they're saying. The same thing about Envy's, because yeah, like Envy's always has a ton of flare.
It can't have flare or it can.
Well, so it can have flare, but you still have to abide by the tops being 40 centimeters outside to outside. So like all of Envy's bars, I'm pretty sure, are narrower than that until you get to like a 46 centimeter bar because there's so much flare. A lot of them measure, like, it's based on the drops width. So I think that's what they're saying about, like, the Bontrager's. The 444s are 44 at the drop. But I saw a video that was talking about, and maybe this is what you're going to talk about, Drew, or Tyler, where they set up Shimano hoods perfectly straight on 40 centimeter outside to outside bars. So, like, exactly like that schematic. And it actually didn't pass the 32 centimeter inside to inside at the hoods because, like, of the way that the Shimano levers bulge out. And they were saying how, like, the Shimano levers are by far the most popular levers in the peloton. So now, like, for guys to be able to run those hoods, they're going to have to either, like, cock them outward or run wider bars.
Yeah, it's for like the ergonomics, right? Like,
yeah, like they
act kind of hands in.
That's what they're talking about. They, like, the Dura-Ace in Ultegra level, whatever the latest Di2 is, they actually bow inward for ergonomics. So, like, that inward bow pushes them at like 31 centimeters or something like that.
Yeah. So Shimano is out. Shimano is penalized because of their hood design, and SRAM is penalized because of their gear setup.
Yes,
so it's fair.
Talk about
that's great that the UCI is just covering all their bases.
So you need to run SRAM hoods with Shimano gearing.
Oh yeah, that's right, because they said they're doing a max.
The tallest gear you can have is 5411,
and that's already in place. That's a rule.
But that no, they're going to try. They're going to try it. They're going to roll out a test in August
for the bars and for the. So both of these are just like test runs.
I think the bars. I think the bars is like for next year is the equipment.
Okay, so none of this is getting implemented like for the tour coming up.
No, I think they're just announcing it.
So I think that the bar width. I can see there being a bar width rule. I think where they've currently set it with this ruling is too wide. Like, the maximum width should be narrower than what it is. Like, everybody's going to have to run wider bars than they currently have. But I could see them setting up a rule where you can't run like a ridiculously narrow track bar. You know, I think that might make sense. I don't understand what the reasoning behind limiting the gears is.
I mean, I don't understand what to me. I don't understand what the whole point of either of these are. Like, Drew was starting to ask the question. Like,
are they just saying that when you get narrower bars, you lose handling ability and so less crashes? Is that the whole handlebar thing?
Yeah, I think so. I'm guessing so.
But these are professionals.
Yeah. I know.
Like,
I think
if you get a job and it's
I think there should be a minimum, but nowhere near where they've put it. Like,
yeah, not 32 centimeters.
Yeah.
Maybe like 20.
I mean, this is the part.
Dylan, go measure your. Well, you probably don't have yours set up the same way that Drew. You had really narrow bars actually for unbound. Is it still set up that way?
16 or something. No, I had to put different bars on because I'm running narrow bars. But
I mean, I think on my road bike, it's probably under. It's definitely under 30 centimeters.
When I had my hands in the hoods for Unbound, I could just stick my thumbs out like this and they almost touched.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. It was like I could almost touch my thumbs when I was in the hoods. So like that's got to be like less than 20 centimeters.
Yeah.
Is there a maximum width?
Dude, you can run wide. Like, what if you had
like, could you run those big like tractor bars from Salsa that's like, 60 centimeters wide?
Just hooking everybody
and just plow through everybody. Yeah.
I mean, if you go too wide, that's dangerous too, because then you're talking about
I'm saying.
A mountain bike race where everybody's hooking bars. Like,
right, that's what I'm saying.
I feel like I would love to show up to a race that I just don't care about and have like basically some flat bars with like little flares on them, like on the
like those Alex Howes bars. Have you seen them that he's running?
No.
Yeah, he runs like something like that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have been talking about too how this is disproportionately disadvantaging smaller riders than it is bigger riders.
Yeah.
Because a smaller rider, regardless of aerodynamics or whatever, would want to run a bar that's that narrow just because it fits them properly.
Right. Do we know, is this rule going to be applied to both the men's and women's fields?
I would assume so, but I don't know.
So, I mean, you're basically
All the women. Yeah,
disadvantaging the entire field.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to see some like really small women on like, I mean, it's going to look like they have those salsa bars just by the proportion of their body versus their bar width.
I mean, just think about the fact that most, like just having worked in a bike shop, like most women's bikes that come in a medium or a small come with 38 centimeter bars. So those are illegal.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, I guess 38s is center to center. So, but that's like on the limits. Like you couldn't.
Well,
some
at
of
the
them,
hood, it's definitely, I mean,
probably going to be narrower.
Illegal. Yeah.
Profile Design just came out with these new bars, the Cancer Race bars, because they designed the whole bar to get around the UCI rule of like the hoods being turned in. So they shaped the bar kind of crazy and all that. But now those bars aren't going to be legal.
Dunzo.
They
throw
just
them in the
They
trash.
just launched them like a month ago.
They're probably the reason the UCI did this.
I hope so.
Yeah, but I mean, again, this is only for like UCI riders,
Yeah,
so
true.
everybody can chill out, and you can still go to your fundo and
Doesn't affect us, but it is kind of annoying.
But a lot of
race.
A lot of the spec bikes though are going to come based on what the UCI regulations are, though, right? Like,
yeah, but we always put
I mean,
our own stuff on the bikes as soon as we buy them, anyway.
Yeah. All right, so can we talk about the gearing though? Because we didn't really touch on that.
Yeah, this is going to
11.
5411. So that's for SRAM. If you have a 10 tooth cog, that means 49 is
40.
So yeah. So all those 50 tooth, which is like pretty common.
Yeah.
All those 50 tooth chain rings are gone.
Well, in the road, it's more like.
Or they said like,
52s.
or you can block off your 10 tooth cog. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Who's going to do that?
It's like going back to junior gearing, remember?
Yeah, exactly.
But again, like, what is this? What are both of these rules meant to solve?
I don't know what the gearing thing is meant to solve. Like, what is the problem with having a big gear to go fast? I don't get that.
I thought it was because of the high speeds on the downhill, but like Pidcock is still going to do the Pidcock thing on all the downhills, regardless of what gear he has.
You're the highest category in a sport in the entire world. Are we not trying to push limits? Like, is that not the whole point of it, is to like eventually keep going faster?
Hey guys, Formula One cars go too fast. We're going to limit it to
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was saying. I was like, all the Formula One cars need to have like a 200 horsepower.
Let's compare
upper
this
limit
to F1 a little more.
So this article does say that it was introduced under the banner of safety because of internal discussions suggesting that gear setups could be contributing to excessive velocities during races.
Excessive velocity.
How is that? How
in downhill sections?
In a category of sport that should be all about pushing limits? How is that even an actual sentence?
Why
that
are you
comes into someone's
saying
brain?
excessive velocity? Like you're trying to like skirt around. You're saying like it's too fast. Yeah,
but this is like. You're talking, okay, Adam, your position is like, we're trying to push the limits here and see what's possible, right? My perspective is these are individuals that have agency. They don't have to go that fast. If they want to go that fast and then they crash.
Andy Schleck, how many tours did he lose because he was too slow?
You know what's way more dangerous? Trying to go 2 miles an hour faster at 220 RPMs because you have to, because you're spun out. That's way more dangerous.
For sure. I just like, I don't
Or the
understand.
same thing with the bars, like trying to get super tucked with your just your pinkies touching the hoods because you're trying to get as narrow as possible. Like that's way less safe than just having your hands on the hoods.
Yeah, it's like silly to me. It's like, what are you solving? The riders are going too fast. Okay, then make less dangerous courses. Then like make them all ride steel frame bicycles.
That's a way better solution. You should apply to work for the UCI, Tyler.
Don't do it.
Drop this podcast stuff and whatever your other job is, and just go work for the UCI.
Think of how much money I could make in bribes. That would be amazing.
Yeah,
I'd be so rich. I'd live in a chalet in Switzerland.
You could hire all of us as your servants.
Yeah. Dylan could take care of my bikes, which wouldn't get done.
Why would you want me doing that?
Hey, did you pump out my tires? No, I outsourced that to somebody else.
No, they're tubeless.
You don't need to pump them up ever.
You know what I was thinking is the UCI might be able to, maybe able to ban my narrow bars, but they ain't never going to touch my long dong stem.
They could, dude. They could. They could make a ruling next year that says you can't have a stem longer than 100 mil.
Is that that's what's gonna, people are just gonna go in another direction. Like they're limited here, so they're just gonna go do something extreme somewhere else on their bike. Like,
okay, so then the third part was deep wheels are banned now.
How deep? I didn't even see that part. I got lost.
See that part.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
I'm not making that up. I saw.
Yeah,
that,
but
right?
I think it was like pretty excessively deep, like 85 millimeters.
What if we just like started our own or other international cycling federation?
Yeah, I'm sure that if you just Google that, you could learn how to do that in like, probably 2 weeks.
At least if you really dedicated time to it, you could. I think if you locked yourself in your sweaty attic.
Well, okay, all right. I take that back. I thought it was super deep, but it's 65 millimeters. That's actually not that deep.
Yeah.
65.
What's that in freedom units?
It doesn't matter. Do you ever measure your wheels in freedom units?
Yes.
Like what? When have you ever bought rims that they say them in inches?
I've never measured the depth of my rims. It's fine.
No, but like when you buy them though, it's like, what are you running today? You're running, 65s. I feel like
I'm running these.
65s are like pretty standard.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely on the deeper side, but like, what? I guess again, like, what is the reason for that? Like, why? Why are they
wind safety? The wind has just been getting real strong out there, guys, and people with their narrow bars and their deep dish, they've just been blowing around.
Dude, here, you want to make
that's right.
Go ahead.
So Zip 808s is like your 65 millimeter equivalent. That's where I was thinking the 85s from. So
Zip 808s are only 65 or 65 centimeters deep.
Why didn't they call them 606s?
I don't know.
Work for Zip, bro.
Interesting marketing tactic.
Dude, you want to make pro racing safer, make everybody have to pass a riding test before they get their pro license. Like,
another bomb. Yeah, dude. Jonas probably wouldn't be able to do the tour. He'd probably fail his riding
test. You guys see that? Did you see that video I sent you where like Jonas was like barely able to take his hands off the bars, like put his hands up in the air, and then to give him the next shot was Tade doing a one-handed wheelie.
To give him a little bit of credit, the internal cabling on the Cervelos is kind of wonky, and it does make taking your hands off the bars weird.
So you think it's because he's on a Cervelo that he can't do that?
Well, maybe that.
I don't know, dude. You look at that video, his teammates are doing it just fine.
Yeah, that's a good point. All his teammates are on the same bike, and they can't. They are absolutely fine. He has to he can't ride no-handed for like more than 5 seconds without wobbling around and touching his bars.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like people complain about crashes and they're like, oh, we got to do something to the bikes to have more rider safety. No, just learn how to handle your bike. Like I feel like you see all these people upgrading in crits and road races and all they've done is just Zwift. And they're just like, they have megawatts, but they can't navigate a Peloton.
Has there been any like statements that have come out from the riders on any of these topics? Do you know? Like, are any of the riders like championing this?
Oh, no, riders don't like the equipment changes, but they're always bitching about making it more safe.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, but that's not a function of the equipment. It's a function of like the courses and like the fact that, anybody could pull out into the middle of a race or drive backwards on the race course, like happened in Lombardia like 5 years ago. So like there's tons of road furniture in the way. Like the changes aren't solving anything.
It's a part of the racing though. You take out the road furniture and you lose half the action.
Hey guys, Tyler jumping in here to talk about one of our show sponsors this week, Join Cycling, the adaptive training app that we've talked about before. Maybe you've heard of it, but I've been using it a lot recently, mostly because my life is super chaotic and I can't be bothered to put my own training plan together. The great thing about Join and the thing that I've loved the most about it is how it adapts to what my availability is and things that I might have already done that weren't on my calendar, like say a random group ride that pops up that I jump in on. Join will take that input and come up with the best training plan for me based on what my goals are. Got some races that I'm looking at this fall, and so far it's been great just to have something to do that I know is structured and not overtraining me or suggesting the same old workouts. I've even been able to swap workouts to do a running workout if I'm pressed for time. So those are just some great features that you have with Join Cycling. As I said, they're sponsoring the podcast this week, and you can check them out at join.cc/BONKBROS. So check them out. Let us know what you think.
Speaking of unsafe courses, yesterday at Toad, apparently there was a massive crash, and then they didn't neutralize the race, and then the race re-crashed into the crash.
How does that happen?
Yeah, I saw that.
It was just piles on piles.
It was like
crazy.
Only a couple laps in, wasn't it?
Like
5 laps in or something.
2 laps in.
How do you crash into the crash?
I don't know.
Because crits.
I think it was around a corner.
Win.
It wasn't long after a corner, so like they didn't see it.
You know it just happened behind you. You have people. It's a closed course. You have people standing there. Let them know that there's a crash on the course, and this is the stupidest thing ever. If you're riding I hate this all the time. You ride in a race, there's a crash in the peloton, and there's always 1 to 2 people that come flying up after you put your foot down, and they crash into everybody else. It's like, what are you doing? How do you not know what's happening?
Because, dude, they're already pinned. They're on the limit of their physical capacity.
Then they shouldn't be a Cat 1 racer.
Brain function, all of their blood flow is not going to their brain. It's going all to their legs. And they're just thinking, I can't get dropped. My life depends on this. And then they just plow into the pile of bodies.
If I get 40th, I'll get noticed by a Volo and they'll pick me up. Jesus, dude. So stupid.
Yeah. I mean,
Speaking truth.
To Drew's point, you know how people will just be yelling at each other in a bike race? Like they could get really pissed at each other. And they probably would never get that pissed at each other in real life. But
me and Kyle Trudeau, that's our relationship.
Right.
We're probably buds.
It's because mid-race, your heart rate is 190 beats per minute. And it's really your threshold for yelling is way lower when your heart rate is that high, you know?
And your threshold for crashing also way lower.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Garrison posted some video. Michael Garrison posted some video, and he's trying to, say crit racing is too dangerous. And I'm like, bro, weren't you the homie that was hopping curbs and taking beer handouts halfway through a race last week? If it's dangerous, you might be at the top of the list of why it's dangerous, getting intoxicated during the race. Come on.
Also,
dude,
I was right behind Michael Garrison at that dirt crit at that Texas race. And he was 2-wheel drifting around every corner. And he ended up crashing himself out. But every single corner he was losing traction. And I was my jaw was on the floor, just trying to follow him. I was like, holy shit, dude, he doesn't give a fuck about his own safety.
And then you were like, this is dangerous. I got to fake that I had a flat or something.
Yeah. Dude, I wanted out of there.
That is I've had that with a couple of riders where you're in a crit and you're like, I want to get away from this person so badly, but you can't because they're just as strong as you are, but they're just they suck in every corner.
Yeah.
Where they take the worst line possible.
And then isn't it the worst when you actually come to your senses and look around and you're just riding through some residential neighborhood and no one actually gives a shit what the hell is going on in the streets, and to you though it seems like it's the most important thing in the world.
That's what I was saying.
Crit racing's fun.
Can we transfer to talk about the other news that dropped after our podcast last week?
There's more news?
Yeah, SRAM just dropped their trickle down group set.
Yeah.
That also
about-
happened right after
Are
we
you about to
recorded.
rip on it, Tyler? Or
No, dude. I'm a SRAM fanboy.
it sounds like you're about to just shred on it.
No, I'm not. I just want to talk about happier things than riders complaining about things that are in their control.
I mean, but do we get some kind of affiliate credit if people buy this? Because if not, we're not talking about it.
Yeah, dude. If you go to Bike Tires Direct,
Do they have
use
it?
code BONKBROS, you get 10%
Yeah, they got
off
it.
that group
Oh,
set.
all right, cool. Let's talk about it then.
I
Yeah,
will
dude.
say I'll give one pro tip for the people out there. I think that the rival group set is amazing, and you should just get the rival group set, but get the upgraded red cassette. The red cassette is way better.
Why is that?
In what
Because it
way?
says red
Shifting
on it.
quality or
It's just the
weight?
shift quality is way better. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't think that I've ever had. Yeah, and I rode some really.
ride
No. I'm about to say the opposite, Drew. I rode some really shitty group sets in college, and I don't think I've ever thought like, "Wow, this shifting quality is terrible. I really need to upgrade."
Yeah, when you have it, you just have it. Like you're not thinking about. Yeah.
No, I'm saying I rode low end shit group sets, and I didn't think about how bad the shifting quality was.
Well, we appreciate that about you. You're just not.
So
you just-
okay, but Dylan, I
just a
will say
lowly,
though,
humble-
with with mechanical shifting though, like you can always get around that, right? Because you can actually like finesse it and like put it in the right gear. Like you can control it.
Mhm.
With electronic shifting, you don't have that luxury anymore. And that's like probably the one thing that I miss most about mechanical shifting is that like you can't feel it into place. It's just like you press the button and it's just going. And I'm just saying like you press the button and it goes better with the red cassette than it goes with the rival cassette. They're still both the best shifting that I've ever been on.
It's
like hands
it's
down.
probably only a problem with SRAM, dude. Just to talk about how humble and down to earth I am, I currently in the year 2025 have Shimano 105 on my road bike.
You don't even ride road, bro.
Is it
Yeah.
mechanical?
The
No,
road
it's
bike that's-
Di2 and it's perfect. It's
Yeah.
perfect and I never have to adjust it.
That's
Are
good.
you-
They make
Are
105.
you switching back?
Yeah, they've made
Electric.
105 Di2 for a while.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I think in general, I've actually never really liked the top of the line road stuff on either like Dura-Ace or Red.
Why?
I don't know. I've always liked the feel of the like one or two like Force
That's too
Arrival
far.
or
Adam. That's too far.
like Ultegra to me is like Ultegra to me is perfect.
You've jumped off
Adam,
the
this
ledge.
isn't a humble competition. You can
Yeah,
say
it's
it's
not.
not like SRAM Red, dude.
No, I don't like SRAM Red. I'm saying I'm saying the SRAM Red because the construction of like how the red cassette is made is different than the rival cassette. So like that's
Bro.
what makes the red cassette shift better.
Bro,
But I like
honestly,
the feel of the other ones better.
Honestly, if somebody gave me SRAM Red, I wouldn't even use it, dude. I wouldn't even use it. I just stick to my force, bro.
Yeah.
Have you?
Are
So what do you
Come
think
on.
of?
You
Are
guys
there-
have all used Dura-Ace mechanical though. You can't tell me Dura-Ace mechanical feels better than Ultegra mechanical. Ultegra mechanical is really good.
That's what I was trying to say. Is like I feel like when people get really all up in their feelings about like this feels better than that, and the shifting quality and the crispness.
You're just saying it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
All right.
I've ridden Dura-Ace Di2 and I've ridden 105 Di2. Obviously, it's what's on my road bike right now. I couldn't tell you a difference. If you blindfolded, I think if you blindfolded anyone, not just me, like anyone, like the most bike snob person you can think of, and they're riding on a trainer and you told them shift through the cassette. Are you on 105 or are you on Dura-Ace? Tell me. They wouldn't be able to tell you.
You're saying Di2 though. Okay, but I'm saying mechanical, you can 100% tell a difference.
Okay. I mean, yeah. Who rides?
That's a man that
mechanical
hasn't
anymore?
formed an opinion.
I know,
on it.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
The same
We
is
should do
true. The
this.
same is true of the SRAM Red to the SRAM Rival with the Axis. Like no way you would be able to tell the difference.
And you save like $400.
way more than $400. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to save our listeners some money.
I mean, I think that
Dang, I know that's wait, that's the one thing that I didn't want to have to buy was the cassette, because the red cassette's like $600.
I know.
It's a lot of cassette.
Actually, well, or the Force cassette is fine too. Because the Force cassette, I think, is the same as the red cassette.
Buy the rival cassette for $200 and then use it on my training wheels so I could save my nice red cassette.
That's fine. Yeah,
do that
for sure. Do that.
I mean,
dude, who cares about shifting when you're training?
I think that if you're on a budget and you're trying to think about, okay, like what is the best return on investment here in terms of like I'm spending my money and I will gain speed. Drivetrain is probably like close to last, in my opinion.
But what's going to help you look cooler?
Also, not Drivetrain.
What,
dude? Wheels look way cooler than Drivetrain.
Yeah, but if you show up to a group ride in Miami and you have 105 on your bike, dude.
You didn't pay $12,000 for your bike? Are you even supposed to be at the group ride?
Right. Yeah.
And you'd only group ride and you don't race?
Yeah. I mean, like, we talk about tires so much on this podcast, but I think it's because as far as like spending money and gaining speed, like a pair of tires costs $150. And you're gaining so much with that.
Or $135 with that 10% discount.
Yeah, or, discount Bike Tires Direct. Dude, you are gaining so much for that small amount of money. I mean, of course, it's a part that's going to wear out, right? So it doesn't last forever. Like, it's a part that you need to replace. And it's also a part.
Yeah, but so do drivetrains, though. I mean, they should at least. Your chain, your cassette, your chain rings, that's all going to wear out.
Yeah, dude. But if you're doing that SILCA hot wax, in the Crockpotanator 4000, you're going to make that last even longer.
Right.
And it's going to be more efficient.
Literally the main.
And if you use their sealant, dude, you can get punctures galore. And that tire is going to be salvaged.
I mean, let me just put it this way. Like, if it's between, like somebody's forcing me to do a road race for some reason, and they're like, okay, you can do it on a $2,000 bike that has Conti GP 5000s, or you can do it on a $10,000 bike that has gator skins. I'm choosing the GP 5000s on the $2,000 bike.
100%. Yeah.
All right. I got a drop for corporate stuff.
All right.
Be
sure to put the blur screen on.
You know it. See it.
Yeah. No, I agree with that, Dylan.
All right. We have listener questions? Or do we have like sponsors we have to shout out or something?
Yeah, we could shout out some sponsors. You guys been shaving them hairy legs of yours? Dylan, you probably haven't shaved your legs in like a month.
I did shave them the other day because I started riding outside.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It was quite an arm workout trying to pick up that bolt shaver, but I got through it.
Nice.
Did you notice the gains once you got outside?
Dude, I was doing like 150 watts, and 100 of those were with my good leg and 50 of those were with my bad leg, but at least I was aero.
There you go. Are you still pedaling with just one cycling cleat?
Okay, so yesterday, for the first time, I wore actual cycling shoes on both feet. I just loosened my pedal as much as it could possibly go. So right now it's so loose that, I mean, you barely clip in and clip out. It's like almost having a flat pedal.
Okay. What kind of pedals you got?
Shimano Durace.
Oh, you're on road pedals. Okay, nice. How did it feel? Like, was it like nervous, like getting on and off?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's not terrible. Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing right now, so I put those really short cranks on my bike, those 155 5-dev cranks.
Okay. Those are sweet looking.
Yeah. Yeah. Titanium. I mean, I think there's not very many companies that make cranks that short. So shout out to 5-dev. They don't sponsor this podcast, so there's no affiliate code, but
do they sponsor you, or you just buy them?
They don't sponsor me either, but they did hook me up with those cranks, which is why I'm giving them a shout out.
Cool.
Did I get in trouble for shouting out my sponsors that actually do pay me?
Bro,
5Dev's gave a free shout out to a company that doesn't even sponsor you.
5Dev's not a sponsor. They're just some cool guys over there.
What are we like? What are we doing here?
Anyway, so like I think they've been helping a lot because my range of motion is pretty limited right now. And obviously longer cranks mean you need a longer range of motion or a bigger range of motion to get through the pedal stroke. Like I tried to ride my mountain bike, my trail bike, and for some reason, I don't know why I haven't swapped cranks on my trail bike yet, but for some reason my trail bike has 175 cranks on it still. And it's
You
hard.
thought going for a trail ride in Brevard with your broken leg was a good idea?
No, I wasn't going to go for a trail ride. I just wanted to like pedal it around the neighborhood. And it's hard to even get through a pedal stroke with the cranks that long. So, yeah.
What's your longest ride so far?
2 hours.
2 hours.
Damn, dude, that's longer than me in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, dude, I did 8.5 hours last week.
What? Holy crap. That's way more than me. Jeez, I better
Yeah,
step
when
up
people
my game.
ride in and say they
We
don't
used to
have
be at
time
the
to train,
we were at
I'll
the same
say,
fitness like a week ago.
Bro, Dylan trains 8 hours with a broken leg. Come on, suck it up and put some more hours in your training.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
You got 2 working legs. Actually, for a year in college, I had a roommate. We weren't roommates, but we shared a bathroom, like his room was on the other side of the bathroom. And he had been in a motorcycle accident and he had lost both of his legs, both at his knee and then half of one of his arms. So like of all of his limbs, he only had one full arm. And he was on the cycling team. And that's why he went to Marion, was to join the cycling team, but he could only do time trials on the velodrome. Like he couldn't really do a lot. But I remember thinking like, I don't think I'll ever complain about my legs hurting again because this guy's riding his bike. He doesn't even have legs. Like, what the heck? Like, I'm such a bum. Like, that'll whip you into shape real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
One time he called me. This is hilarious. This is like one of the best stories from college I have. One time he called me and he's like, "Hey man, you got a 5 mil Allen key?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, you need it?" He's like, "Yeah, man, I'm over on the track. I was doing a run and my leg fell off. Can you come over here and help me put it back on?" Because he had those bladed legs. And I was like, yeah, I'll be over there in a second. I hopped on my bike with my 5 mil and helped him put his leg back on in the middle of the track.
You think that like they would have like a holster for a 5 millimeter key on those things? Like that seems like pretty critical tool to have.
Right.
Or you just carry like a 5 mil around with you if that was a risk.
Well, maybe it just doesn't come loose that often, but yeah, it did that day.
Yeah, it's definitely inspiring when like people who are disabled are still getting after it, like way more than the vast majority of people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like it's really like it's really humbling and it's really shows you like you have no excuses.
Yeah.
Like this guy with no legs is running laps on the track, and then when his leg comes loose, he's calling his like bathroom mate. Tell him to
say roommate.
You guys shared a bathroom though.
Yeah, you're making it weird.
Did you guys share it together at the same time?
No, come on. Yeah. I think there's like a bunch of I don't know, research probably isn't the right word, but it happens all the time where people will get an injury, whether it's like something short term like a broken leg. I know you don't think it's short term, but it's not.
Yeah, it's relatively short term.
Yeah. Or if it's something like that will be with them for the rest of their life. And then that does kick them into like a gear of like, oh snap, like I was wasting time before this. I need to like make my life count or do more cool stuff or whatever. Like sometimes it takes something like that traumatic to make you realize you're wasting your life.
Dude, that's what happened to me, man. Before this broken leg, what was I doing with my life? Just riding.
Seriously. All those crit racers that just plowed themselves into that crash, wasting their life. Now they're going to convert to gravel.
All right, Drew, did you see the picture that I put in the chat? It's in the group text. Yeah. Someone sent this in.
Oh, snap. Somebody did some AI. How'd they do that?
I thought it was a legit, you got a new bike. It says
that is baller.
He said something like Drew's bike is super hot or something like that.
They even like AI'd it to where even the handlebars and all that are different.
Put it up to the screen so people can see it.
Dude, I'm about to
All right, so for those who are listening and not watching,
that's sick.
Basically somebody AI Drew's bike so that it's just covered with flames.
Just covered in flames.
Now, you're not really leaning into the flame thing anymore like you did last year, though. So I feel like
our thing is checkers this year.
Yeah. Why'd you guys decide on checkers?
Chase wasn't for the
Okay, well, Mike, if you're out there listening, thanks for the sick AI overlay of Drew's bike, but come back with us when you got one that's got checkers on it.
I already put checkers on my bike this year. It could be better though.
Okay, well, Mike's going to do it better.
That looks sick though. Am I allowed to just like straight up copy this?
And do what?
Put it on my bike.
Why wouldn't you be allowed to do that?
It's not copyright, bro. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, true.
Okay,
in fact,
let's
if
see.
anything, this guy is copyright infringing your shorts from last year.
I think it'd look cooler if it was a black bike. Then it would make the flames pop a little more.
All right, you hear that, Mike? You can make it cooler.
Sick looking. Wow.
All right, so this one comes
spray paint later
from, we'll just call him Jay. Jay says, don't know where to submit funny Bonk Bros questions for banter, so here is a shot. And he sent this to me. Number one, wants to know, last time you all bonked or quit a race?
Well, Drew bonked and quit last year at Gravel Nationals. It's really embarrassing for him.
No. Altitude sickness, buddy.
Dude,
it was like
3,000 feet?
3,000 feet? 4,000 feet?
Just low enough to be dangerous. Or just high enough to be dangerous, I mean.
Okay, well, yeah, see? So he's got his excuses.
Yeah, I did. No, I straight up, I don't know if I bonked or just overexerted myself. I literally think it was altitude. I hadn't felt that bad on the bike in a long time.
I'm going to be honest, I can't even remember the last time I bonked.
I said this in my Unbound video. You could probably make the argument that when I got dropped and crawled in the last 50 miles that I had bonked. But I don't think I bonked. I think I just hit my max bodily energy expenditure.
What would
I don't know if that's the same thing.
What would you? Yeah. How would you actually characterize bonking?
Well, bonking is very specific. It's you are super low on glycogen and you have a glycogen bonk. Like you're lightheaded, your energy levels plummet like in a very short period of time. Like you could go from feeling good to bonked in 15 minutes.
And so, Drew, you're saying the reason that you wouldn't classify what happened at Unbound as bonking is because you were keeping up on your fueling?
I think so, yeah. And like I wasn't lightheaded or dizzy. I just like got tired.
Yeah. Like to me, like I agree. Like Dylan, that's what I've always thought is like bonking is like something just hits you like a wall and like you just can't even like physically do anything anymore.
So, in the past, I don't know, 5 years, carbohydrate intake during endurance sports has just exploded. Like everybody's going crazy with their carb intake. And since that happened, I mean, I'll speak for myself, but I think also most people who are in that world, bonking is very rare if you're trying to hit 90 grams of carbs an hour. Like even if you're not getting to 90, I mean, to bonk, you have to be pretty significantly under fueling for most of the race. And it's really not something that occurs that much anymore because of how much people are taking fueling seriously. I mean, the last time I quit a race, it's been so long, man. Honestly.
You finished every Unbound you've done?
Every Unbound I've done, I've finished.
Oh. I can only think of like 2 races I've quit. Unbound the first time, and then Gravel Nats last.
I mean, I don't know if I've quit a race since I was like 17 or something. Like it's been over 10 years since I've quit a race.
Man,
I mean, if somebody who like somebody can correct me if I'm
hard
wrong.
man award. Can we just get him an award for being so hard?
Now, and Dylan, you're saying like you didn't. Not only did you finish all these races, but you also never gave up. Like, have you ever had a chance? Mentally? Yeah, like where you just like, all right, my race is kind of over. I'm just going to pedal back to the finish to get to the finish.
Giving up mentally is like, can be kind of subjective. I think that I try to always give 100% all the way to the finish line, but sometimes that you didn't. Like, that you kind of gave up mentally. And you're at least I am, when that happens to me, I'm kicking myself. I'm like, I really shouldn't have done that. And I mean, there's been races where I'm like, yeah, I kind of eased up more than I should have. Like, I really wish I didn't ease up as much as I did. So like,
you didn't do that at Tusher last year.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I mean, I really try, no matter how bad I'm doing in the race, no matter how many mechanicals I've had, no matter like if I've cramped or bonked or whatever, I always try to push 100% of my effort all the way to the finish line. And I wish more bike racers had that mentality. I think that's a good mentality to have.
I think so too.
Especially if I can see why road racers don't have that mentality, I guess. But like, if you want to succeed at gravel or marathon mountain bike racing, I feel like you need to have that mentality. So anyway, that's me getting up on my high horse or soapbox or whatever. But I honestly, I can't think of a race that I've quit since I was like, I don't know if somebody's going to call me out here. Somebody's going to like remember a race that I didn't finish and call me out. And it's going to be embarrassing, but I don't think that I have quit a race as an adult, like over the age of 18. I can't remember one. Yeah.
Yesterday, I wanted to quit my endurance ride, and then something happened in my brain where I was like, I'm no longer doing an endurance ride. I'm doing a ragbri ride. I was like, every Dollar General I stop, I'm going to probably stop at every Dollar General, and every creek that is accessible, I'm going to jump in. And I like.
So you just turned it into like a fun ride.
Yeah, kind of, but it still kind of sucked. But yeah, like it was so hot yesterday. Yeah, I mean,
it's better than quitting.
That kind of helped. I mean, yeah, just a change of mindset, I guess. At Ragbri one year, it was so hot that they had every fire department in every little town you ride through, which is every like 5 or 10 miles. They have these fire departments, I guess, have these big pools that they have for, I don't know what they have them for actually, but it's just like a big pool that they put together with metal poles, and it's just like a big bag of water. And they were filling it up with like water, cold water. And so you roll up and there'd be 50 dirty burros hanging out in a little pool in front of a fire department. And I got in like every one at every stop. But CJ was like, I'm not touching that water. You don't know what's in that water. And I'm like, I don't care what's in the water. I'm getting in the water.
Dirty bros. That's what's in the water.
Exactly.
Clearly. All right. Has anyone ever tried Margie Gesick up in Upper Michigan? 100 miles single track, 100 miles, 97% single track, 3% connecting roads.
I've never done it, but I've heard it's like one of the hardest marathon mountain bike races in the country.
Yeah.
Haven't you heard that, Dylan?
Well, that's how they.
That's what it's known for. Yeah.
I mean, they literally market it that way. So
like it takes longer than Leadville. It's harder than Leadville.
Longer than Leadville, bro. Dude, Leadville's like a 5:45 race for Keegan.
Yeah.
Like Leadville is like.
So that's an accurate statement. It is long.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh, it's
the winner
twice as long.
The winner at Margie, like it's
an over. I was right.
It's like
what I said was accurate.
Has anybody gone over under 9 or under 10? At Margie?
Yeah, I think people have gone under 10,
like
but
9,
not much. Something? Let's see. Course record.
Yeah, honestly, Leadville doesn't hold a candle to Margie.
The first racer to go sub 10 hours was Jeremiah Bishop back in 2018.
What do you get?
That was old Jeremy.
9:57.
9:57, dude.
Yeah.
Basically 10 hours. I mean, that's like unbound effort. Yeah. Yeah. You know what's funny? At Leadville, they like
They've got a Margie Gessick run too. I didn't know about that.
I'm doing this coast to coast this weekend up in Michigan, and I hope it takes 12 hours. I just hope. I hope it's so slow.
Why?
Because I do not feel as fit as I did 3 weeks ago.
Why? What happened?
Blood volume, dude.
What happened to your blood volume?
I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. You're the one that said something about blood volume. That's all I can think about.
All right,
What?
So last year, these are the top 5 finishing times at Margie Gessick. So Pat Collins, 10:18, Matt Acker, 10:31, Cole House, 10:38. Yeah. Jeremiah Bishop, 10:44, and Jackson Rich, 10:57. Only 5 guys went under 11 hours.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's pretty ballin'.
All right, Dizzle, why are you unfit right now? I don't get it.
I don't know. Because I took too much time off after Unbound.
How much time did you take off?
9 days.
That's a lot. Bro, mid-season you took 9 days?
Yeah. We've already talked about this. It's going to pay dividends in October, dude.
Okay.
Wait, so are you doing the 200-mile coast to coast? So you're going to take another 9 days off after that?
Nope. Training straight through it.
That seems risky biscuits.
Okay.
It's base season, pretty much, again.
Okay.
Seems like a fun race.
Dylan, weren't you talking about at some point earlier this year that you were considering Margie?
Yeah. Probably not now, but
When is it?
it's like September.
It's September.
Yeah.
It's probably the week after. I think it's the week after Schwamigan.
Is Schwamigan?
I think it's the week after.
So the week after Schwamigan is Gravel Nationals, I think. So I think I'll do Schwamigan and then Gravel Nationals, and then
if it was the same week as Schwamigan, maybe I would do Margie and then just go to Gravel Nats, because Margie sounds like a real mountain bike race.
Yeah, but then you'd be really tired for
Looks
Gravel
like it's
Nationals.
it's like
True.
September 20th ish.
I don't think I want to do it. Or maybe. It's not on my list of races right now.
Okay. Last time you were smoked by someone on inferior equipment when you were actually trying.
Every race I do. Every race I do.
Yeah, Dylan has the most superior equipment of anyone, so every time he loses.
How pissed are you when Stetna beats you on some IRC gravel?
No, how pissed are you when Keegan beats you on the slippery boys?
Yeah, I mean, everybody should be pissed. Everybody should look at... Well, I mean, Keegan doesn't run the slippery boys anymore, but back when he ran refuses and was winning, people should have looked at that and been like, wow, that guy, I mean, he's not even trying. You know, he's like Tade when he just like stays seated and drops Jonas, who looks like he's about to have a hernia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drew, who was the cyclocross racer that
J Money.
J Money, dude, that's what as soon as I saw this,
I don't know his real name, but J Money showed up. He was like the only guy in the UCI race that still had canty brakes.
Yep.
Some old giant, I think. He was a big dude, but he had an old school giant TCX with canty brakes and
like homemade kits.
Went to Europe. Dude, he beat me in Europe in like half the races, and I was pissed. That's exactly, this is the guy, the behind this question. When the guy with canty brakes and a Sharpie jersey passes you and you're trying to do your best, you're pissed. I was pissed.
How do we feel about I don't know, like
and he was nice.
So
I don't know if that's worse.
This
or
is just
better.
this is just an example that comes to my mind, but it's like the essence of this is like somebody doing the pro race in jorts.
Mm. Now, are they doing the pro race in jorts like intentionally, like to be kind of funny, are they just like
what made Ryan
that's
Standish
just
famous?
That's what I'm saying. Like, are they like they're wearing jorts, but they're doing it as like a gimmick almost, or they're just like, I wear jorts every time I ride, so I'm going to wear jorts on this bike race.
I don't know. Probably the former,
matter,
because who would wear
who in jorts beats you? How pissed are you?
Yeah.
I think the jorts thing is just an example of that, but you could also say the same about like wearing, I don't know, funny sunglasses or something or whatever.
I think the essence is actually when a dude beats you on flat pedals.
I don't know if that's ever happened to me.
I don't think that's ever happened.
So I think the jorts thing is cool if the dude wearing jorts in the short track race is actually fast, like he's in the top 10. And then you're like, wow, that guy's a badass. Like he gives no fucks and he's a badass. If
Cameron
the guy
Dodge, does he count?
Yeah, dude, Cam Dodge would be a perfect example. Dude,
All black.
If a guy
sponsors.
If a guy in jorts is like close to last place, I'm like, yeah, dude, like
maybe you should try
what'd you
pickleball.
expect?
Maybe you should try pickleball.
it makes it way less cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like you could get away with all this kind of stuff in the not endurance side of cycling, like downhill. Like somebody could win downhill in jorts.
I think there was a guy who was doing World Cup downhill races and doing well in jeans.
That seems like appropriate clothing, yeah.
A ton of like BMXers just wear jeans when they BMX.
All right, most ridiculous performance gimmick that you have fallen for.
Performance gimmick? The goop that you put on your legs.
Ooh.
I've never used it, but I think a lot of people.
You're talking about the
crap.
Like the sodium bicarb,
human, dude. Sodium, yeah, amp human. Or what was
the
was
face
that?
of it is Lance Armstrong.
It was amp
that
human
should be a
or
pretty big red flag. Lance Armstrong tells you to put this yellow goop.
I don't know, man. I think I still fall for it because I sometimes put that on and I feel like I got rocket legs.
Yeah, I know, but I think part of it is because your legs are shiny and you're like, ooh, look at how good my legs look.
It does make your legs look good.
Sunscreen does that too, and sunscreen's proven to not, to help.
So amp human is the is like the reason I stopped working at CTS.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah,
you made that video, and then
so I probably worked at CTS for
way too long,
2 years or 3 years, and then 1 year of that I was making YouTube videos. That's when I just started in like 2019 or something, or 2018. And I made a video about amp human and whether it works or not. And I don't even think that the video was conclusive one way or the other. I think at the end of the video, I was like, yeah, science isn't really very convincing on this.
Well, all the science was by amp.
The science
right?
was funded by amp human, and it still wasn't convincing, which should be a red flag. You're like, if you're funding the study and you can't even come up with a convincing finding, it's probably bullshit, right? It probably doesn't work. Which I kind of alluded to in the video. And Amp Human sponsored CTS, and Chris Carmichael called me and he's like, dude,
Chris called you.
Yeah.
Carmichael.
He's like, dude, I am real close to firing you. Like, you need to
bring it on, bro. Yeah, you know what? I quit, Carmichael.
Yeah, and that's basically what I did. I was like, well, can't fire me because I quit. So
nice.
Snap.
Yeah.
Dang, and look at us now. Here in 5 years, Ignition's about to put CTS out of business. Carmichael made a big old mistake. Come at us, Carmichael.
No. I still have friends at Carmichael. Like, I still like the people at Carmichael. I don't want to go.
Those are all your low IQ friends.
Come on.
Right. Yeah. My low IQ friends are definitely not on this podcast.
I feel bad for people who work for CTS. Good one. I feel bad for people who work for CTS. I had a friend who worked for them for a long time. And every time I talked to him, I was like, dude, you got to quit CTS. Like, do your own thing. Come work for Ignition. You being at CTS isn't it? Like,
CTS is fine. I don't want to shit on CTS.
yeah, I mean, I guess it's okay for the athlete, but it sucks for the coach.
So anyway,
All right. So
that was one. Okay, no, for real. This is an ad read for Ignition. We pay our coaches. I'm proud of this. We pay our coaches more than any other coaching company that I've ever heard of. And that's why we call the company Ignition Coach Co. It's a company of coaches because we care about our coaches and we want them to make as much money as possible. Because if coaches are doing well, the athletes do well. You know, like people have left Ignition to go to another coaching company, and within a month, they've got 50 athletes. And you think they're doing a good job with 50 athletes? Probably not. They're probably not doing a good job with 50 athletes. But if you only have 20 or 25 athletes and you can make a living off of those, you're probably going to do better with those athletes and be happier, making the same amount of money. There you go.
touche.
Our coaches aren't overloaded with athletes.
And then their athletes don't have to rely on gimmick products like Amp Human.
Yeah, exactly. They've just got
Does Amp Human, is that still a company or did they go out of business?
I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah, I know.
It was like a huge
was
spike, and they
Amp
were at
Human was the
everything, and
PR lotion, is what it's called. PR lotion. Yeah, they're still around. They got some new packaging. Looks like
That was the one and only time that I used Lance Armstrong as clickbait for my video.
nice.
Anyway, so I think that I don't want to say this is completely a gimmick because you just have to.
Oh, dude, you can get Amp Human at Bike Tires Direct. That's
Cool.
You
Well,
can.
if you want to get the gimmick lotion off of Bike Tires Direct, you know
Can
what
get
you know what
sunscreen
code
from
to
it?
use.
Just go get some sunscreen.
I used to use an altitude tent in college, and I don't want to say it's a gimmick because I think if you use it correctly, it could help a little bit for altitude races. But you have to use it like 12 hours a day. And you don't realize, you're like, oh, well, I sleep for 8 hours, so that's just another 4. You don't realize how long that is to sit in a sweaty, stinky tent. It's nearly impossible to have a normal life and spend 12 hours in a tent. It just is.
Wait. You had a normal life in college?
I mean, you know, people could argue either way on that, but I even me being the dork that I was in college, I didn't spend 12 hours in that tent. I basically slept in it and then I left. And you know, if you just sleep in it for 8 hours, it's really debatable whether it's doing anything for you. So,
Yeah.
and I say that one because that one's an expensive one. Like those altitude tents are not cheap. So, like it's a huge, like if it's definitely a marginal gain. If it's a gain at all, it could be no gain at all, depending on how much you use it and whatever. And also, you know, it might disrupt your sleep quality if you don't sleep that well. And then that probably will set you back more than anything the tent is doing. So it's like a really, really, really expensive marginal gain. If it's even a gain at all.
And it's super inconvenient on your life off the bike, right? Like some of these things, it's only going to impact you like while you're training. But this is like you have to do it whenever you're not training. So basically, you're just extending your training by 8 hours.
I mean, dude, if you have a wife, she's probably going to divorce you because you're sleeping in a sweaty tent.
I mean, or you could both sleep in the altitude tent.
No, dude, it's extra sweaty with 2 people in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can't do any extracurricular activities in the tent, if you know what I mean, because it'll look like that scene from Titanic.
Yeah. Or, you know, maybe it'll start on fire. What kind of extracurricular activities are you talking about, Dylan?
I was just talking about push-ups and sit-ups, you know, my core routine.
Oh, I thought, okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever fallen for a gimmick. I have such a high IQ that I can see. I can see everything clear as day as soon as I see it. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
that's
right. That's a good one.
I don't know. No, I really I don't think I ever used the amp stuff.
Well, it doesn't have to be a product. It could be, you know, lifestyle habit, training habit, protocols?
I went vegan for a few months.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's for sure.
What are some other big ones? What are some other big gimmicks that have happened? Mountain bike tires?
I don't know. Yeah,
on your gravel bike.
Yeah, mountain bike tires on your gravel bike.
Carb intake. You know,
Dude,
these gimmicks.
Didn't you put drop bars on your mountain bike once? That's a gimmick.
That is a gimmick, and I took them right off.
Dude, that gimmick. Watch what happens at Leadville this year. I've already had people texting me that they're seeing this person and this person. And
I'm not the fastest guy at Leadville do drop bars and went slower last year.
Yeah. He also did have a flat tire, so you know.
Well, then it's all up to that guy to prove us wrong.
And he also still won by 20 some minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the year of drop bar mountain bikes at Leadville. Mark my words.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do one more of this guy's supposedly rapid fire questions, but it's not really working.
Are these all? These are all the same guy.
These are supposed to be rapid fire.
These are good questions. I like them.
We also said they're funny questions. I don't know. They're not that funny.
We could answer them quicker if we I
didn't know they were rapid fire.
What if we do? We have to answer each one of these questions with one word from now on.
What? Who made you the rule maker?
All right, this one's easy. All right, Dylan, do you supplement your bike training with any running?
Not now.
Well,
one word. Your word was well.
Yes, I do.
All right, try to interpret that one, Jay.
Yes. All right.
Kinda.
Tips on glasses and sweat on the mountain bike. Is there a ceramic spray?
That one.
What? Well,
because everybody knows.
Okay, go.
Your answer is yes too, right?
Yeah, but way more than you.
You said kinda, right?
Yes, more than Dylan. Yes.
I mean, is that a flex?
Yeah. I have more bone density than you because I run.
Yeah, by like what, 0.8%?
Doesn't matter. More than you. That's a lot when you're talking.
Dude, if you got hit by a truck, you probably wouldn't even have broken your leg.
Probably would have
the truck's bumper probably would have broke, dude.
Yeah, you should see the truck. Dude, but I'm not even kidding. This happened like 3 times on my ride yesterday. Every time I see a big truck parked on the side road, I'm freaking out. I'm like, this guy's coming at me. It happened like 3 times on my ride. Just a big truck. It even had a trailer behind it. And it's parked there at an intersection, not moving. And I'm like, he's going to pull out right when I drive by. But it didn't happen. I also like veered left just in case he did. Learning from your mistakes, I guess.
All right. Well, Jay's got one more question. He wants to know basically, how do you handle or deal with when you get sweat on your glasses while you're mountain biking?
Oh.
Do you chuck them? Do you just you swap them out for new ones? Do you stop and wipe them off? Is there any kind of ceramic spray that you use to help the sweat bead off?
Yeah. So
I don't care if sweat gets on the glasses, but when sweat like is penetrating your eyeball, dude, it's the worst. Like, and you can't see because now your eyes are tearing up and they're in pain.
Do you wear contacts too? Okay,
it's probably worse with.
It's even worse with contacts.
Yeah, like it happened to me a lot yesterday. I'm like, I can't see.
So I started riding by mountain biking on the East Coast, and to be honest, like I didn't wear glasses for most of the beginning of my cycling career, if you want to call it that. Because on the East Coast in the summer, it's just like nearly impossible to wear glasses while you're riding. I mean,
because it's too humid,
and your glasses are both going to fog up and you're going to drip sweat on them. People honestly just don't wear glasses in the summer on the East Coast. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I never rode mountain bikes with glasses when I was younger because I was convinced that the shading of the sunglasses was affecting my ability to see the trail. So I
still feel that way. I ride clears a lot of times if I know I'm going to be in like shaded single track.
You do no glasses or clears.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I mean, I don't know if this is good advice because like now a stick is probably going to poke this guy's eyeball out and
or a bee. Somebody told me, this old lady I was riding with once when I was younger was like, if a bee flew into your eye and stung it, they might have to remove your eye. And ever since she told me that, I've worn sunglasses at least on my road rides.
Yeah.
She scared me.
Yeah. But honestly, East Coast in the summer when it's humid, I just don't wear glasses. And that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't wear it for like half my ride yesterday because it was so.
Yeah,
so
see,
hot,
with contacts, I can't do that. Like my eyes would get dried out and then my contacts would get all messed up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know if at some point, like, I don't know if you just sweat out all your sweat or what, but like the first hour of my ride was the worst when all the sweat was getting in my eyes. And then at some point it like somehow dried up more. So then I was able to wear my glasses.
I used to be the guy that like I literally couldn't stand if I had one little speck or smudge on my glasses. Like it would drive me crazy. But now I've just gotten so used to it that like my whole glasses could be smudged, and I'm like, whatever.
I'll get to the end of a ride and I've gotten so used to all the crap on there that I'm like, I can't even see out of these anymore.
Right.
I'm like descending the last little hill and I'm like, I didn't even see that pothole I just hit because there's so much crap on my glasses right now.
Yeah. All right. Have you guys? Okay, this is from.
We didn't answer his question.
This is from Kyle. Well, I don't know.
we did.
Just got a deal.
Is there's not like a spray you can? I don't think that would work.
I think they have defog spray.
Yeah, I've seen defog. He was talking about ceramic spray or something. Yeah, you could have tear-offs like they do in motocross. That's what they do in downhill too.
Yeah, I've seen it in downhill.
Okay, this is from Kyle. Kyle says, have y'all heard of the new stage race Gravel Burn? It's a 7-day stage race put on by the creator of Cape Epic. I did a group ride hosted by Brennan Wirtz, and he was telling me about it. Bonk Bros should skip Iceman and race it as a team at the end of the season.
One of my sponsors has been
hold on,
like nonstop talking about that race.
Yeah, hold on.
Who was it? It might have been. The
it's like
so
the opportunity to do Iceman. Why is he trying to stop me from doing Iceman?
So hold on, didn't I text this to you, Dylan?
I've heard it's going to be a big deal.
Because one of the guys that I met at Andorra Epic last year reached out and invited you and I thought I sent this to you. Yeah. Invited us to come do it because either his company's sponsoring the race or his company must be sponsoring the race. But yeah, it's a big 7-day stage race in South Africa, and it sounds sick.
In November?
And we have an open invite if we want to go do it. Yeah, no, it's in October. It runs through Iceman, so it starts the end of October and runs through the first weekend in November. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be sick.
Iceman's the first weekend of November?
Yeah.
That's convenient. I only have to extend my season like 1 week.
We've been saying that for years.
I thought it was like a month after for some reason.
No.
It's 3 weeks
like
after Big Sugar.
3 or 2? Oh, crap. That is a month. What are you guys talking about? How does that go from 1 week to 3 weeks?
Yeah, it's 3 weeks after Big Sugar.
No, it's not.
It's 2.
It's got to be 2 weeks.
Big Sugar's like in the 20s. How could you fit?
Should we place a bet right now?
Big Sugar is. Are you sure it's in the? No, it's big. Okay, Big Sugar is only the 18th this year. Iceman is
13 days.
Man, Iceman must be late this year then. Maybe that's what it is. Why is my computer so slow?
Yeah, if it's the 7th, it's 3 weeks.
No. Oh yeah, it must be the 7th. Wow, their website is not good. I'm on the website and it doesn't tell me what the date is.
You don't have to. It's the 7th, dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
I literally can't find it.
You're right. You're so smart, Dylan. You get the hard man.
Okay,
award,
so Iceman must be
the smart award.
Oh, okay, so technically, I think this race actually would not conflict with Iceman dates wise, but obviously, like
it's 2 weeks after or something.
This race,
Dylan, you're not going to South Africa, dude. We know you're not.
Yeah, you already told
Why
me
are
you
you
weren't
even
doing it.
entertaining
You don't know
this
me.
conversation? I
You
do
don't know where
you.
you don't know me
I
and
do
where I'm
know
going to go.
you. You don't go anywhere unless it's a lifetime race.
So this race, the gravel burn, is 2 weeks after. Well, it's basically a week and a half after Big Sugar, because it starts on the 27th and goes through November 1st.
Same format as Cape Epic. Like you have to have a teammate.
No,
it's just an 8-day gravel stage race.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, I thought it was a team one, but I guess
we should do
it's
it
not.
as teammates anyways, Dylan. We'll just stay together the whole time.
No. I mean, we can stay together, but I do not want to be teammates with you.
Well, that's what this person's saying, is that we should do it as a team. I don't think I would put you guys through that.
Yeah, no.
Maybe me and Tyler could be a team.
Yeah, you and Tyler, and then me and Dylan. That's like that's a good pairing. Me and Dylan are probably very equally fit, and you and Tyler are probably very equally fit.
Probably.
I mean, the only reason why we're equally fit right now is because I have a broken leg.
Wow. Funny award, too.
All right. Do you guys want to do one more, or should we wrap it up?
One more.
All right. This one's from...
People like the long podcast.
This one's from Bright. That's a real name.
Hey, actually, before we say this, I have to... do you guys remember Banjo?
Yeah. The dog.
Yeah, Banjo the dog.
We have a Banjo update?
Banjo sent me like a care package.
What?
She didn't send it to me like in the mail. She had her friend who knows me drop it off at my house.
Wow.
And it's like a bunch of really random stuff.
Just dog treats?
No, it's like there was like ginger candy, and there was like a piñata of a dog, and there was a notebook, and there was like a handwritten letter that had all these dog puns.
Really? Anyway, do we still not know who Banjo is?
At what point do we report Banjo?
I don't know.
Like, she's got your address and she's sending stuff.
No, she doesn't have his address. She knows someone who has his address.
Yeah.
Seems a little concerning.
You know, but what's funny about it is like I thought Banjo listened to this podcast, and she hated everybody on the podcast.
That's what everybody says, but they actually
wouldn't Banjo be a boy dog's name?
I'm just telling you, Banjo
is... It'd be Banja if it was a girl.
Banjo's a female.
Banja.
How do we know that?
And also, because that's what my friend who knows Banjo told me.
Yeah. Banja.
Maybe your friend is Banjo's owner.
My friend would never make a random care package like this. That'd be so weird.
No, I'm saying your friend's friend. Like maybe Banjo is still the dog.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, I guess
this person's just trying to like.
Yeah.
Was there anything like in there that was useful?
No, not one thing.
You didn't eat the ginger candy?
No.
You're not gonna write notes in your journal?
I think she did print out a study about bone fracture healing for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's thoughtful. So that when she breaks your legs, like from Misery, the Stephen King book, you'll know how to heal them up. Is that the book? Misery? I think it is. Where the homegirl puts the block of wood between his legs and breaks them.
All right, last one.
You guys don't know that scene. Oh my gosh, gruesome movie scene in history.
We'll take your word for it.
Y'all are unwoke.
You're definitely not using that correctly at all.
Yeah.
Y'all are asleep.
To be awake, you got to wake up.
No, to seize the day. First, you gotta wake up.
Sorry. To be awoken, you've got to open your eyes.
There you go.
All right. Okay, this is the last one. This is from Bright. Bright says, question for Drew. If you know...
Yes, finally a question geared towards me. Screw all you guys. Yes. All right.
If you know that you've capped out on your FTP, then why aren't you listening to Dylan and going full aerodork for all the marginal gains as much as possible? Unbound clearly showed that heat training paid off, and I think that's being sarcastic.
No. That's not being sarcastic.
Yeah, bro. Why aren't you listening to me?
Wait, what?
Why aren't you listening to me?
I do listen to Dylan. I just like to.
That's what I don't understand. I feel like
I do
everything you
that Dylan
do
says.
is like copy of Dylan.
Yeah, 100%.
Including your YouTube channel, dude.
It was for a while. Now it's not. If you go back and watch some of my older videos, I straight up was copying Dylan because I had heard of this strategy. It's called the sequel strategy of YouTube, where you find a famous YouTube video and you just try to recreate it, and you take all the same words and everything, and you just make a second video about
if you do that strategy, you'll never be as popular as the original. The original will always be the most popular one.
Fine. If I was half as popular as her, I'd be stoked. I'd be making more ad revenue, everything.
Yeah, but don't you think
I'm like 10% of yours?
Yeah, but don't you think that it's like a little cringe that you're a 30-year-old man and you care about your popularity?
You know what I was thinking? No, not for popularity's sake, for ad revenues.
Right?
Sake.
Yeah, because you're all about the money.
All about
right?
the money.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah, more subscribers, more views equals more money. That's why I'm in the YouTube game. If you didn't know, I don't care about the truth. Dylan says he cares about the truth. Look, I'm not bleak, or I'm not like dumb enough just to lie to your face and say I care about the truth. I care about the ad revenue, and so does Dylan. What was I going with this?
I don't really care that much about if YouTube stopped paying me tomorrow, I would still do exactly what I'm doing right now.
You make enough money from all your other crap that at this point, yeah. Anyways,
you know, some people just do it for the love, Drew. Not everything in life is about money.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. But when you got a family, the money definitely is changes things.
Okay,
it's a motivator.
Yeah.
If I can make money from YouTube videos and my wife doesn't have to work and we can raise our kids the way we want to.
I forgot what Bright's question was.
Why don't I do
why isn't
you say and marginal gains? But he must not be that good of a follower, because I did do all the aero things, as much aero of stuff that I thought was made sense to my bike. I'm not going to do, I didn't want to, like, there's certain things to go to the extreme. Like I'll call out Chase. I think Chase went too extreme on some of the stuff he went this year, and I actually bit him in the butt. I'm convinced of certain things, and I did all of those things as far as aerodynamics, hydration, carbs, strategy. I did like everything I could optimally, knowing that my FTP is lower. And I think it paid off tremendously. Like my intensity factor for like the first 150 miles was higher than like any other 100-mile race I've ever done. And I was in the top 20 or 25 or something. Like, and last year I got dropped in the first
a bad thing?
section. Last year I was in.
Here's a question,
at the first like aid last year, I was like not even in the top 100.
All right, here's a question though, Drew. Did you consider bending your elbows?
I rode in my drops the whole race, I think.
Okay. With straight elbows though?
I don't know, but it was fast. You can't be uncomfortable for 200 miles either. Like I can't just sit there with bent 90-degree elbows. Like my triceps aren't that ripped.
Get ripped triceps, dude.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel like I did like a lot of extreme things. And I think at the top of the list was the heat training. And I do think that was what helped the most. But if you added up all the things that I did different this year than last year, it's hard to pinpoint which. When you do everything, it's hard to tell which one worked, because I did like all kinds of different new stuff. Like you could just say that I trained like, I think I upped my training by over like 10% compared to last year for the whole year, which is like 10% is not a small thing. Like when you're already training a lot, to bump it up another 10% is significant. So there's
Did
that.
you use SILCA sealant?
Of course I did. Why would I use any other garbage?
Did you wax your chain?
Yep. Night before.
That's honestly made the difference right there.
Yeah. Chase travels with his wax. Actually, I think we both traveled with our wax 4000. What is it? Crockpotanator 4000 to that one.
Nice.
Yeah, dude, we did all of
All right, let's end it.
So Bright,
All right.
you were wrong. You're right about me not having a great FTP. Wrong about me not trying. I did try.
Dude, your FTP is like 380.
No, it's never been 380. That would mean I would have to do over a 400. And I've
What
never
is
done
it?
over
What
a
is it?
400 test. If I had to guess, it's somewhere between 360 and 370, which would put me like, that's like right below a 400.
Dude, you know how many people would kill
Hey,
their
what's your
first newborn
durability, though?
child
I was gonna
to-
say, I don't think my FTP has gone up, but my durability has increased tremendously. Like, obviously. So, I mean, and I'm convinced that even if your FTP is stagnant for 10 years, you could still get a lot better. I'm convinced my FTP probably won't get any better at this point. Every time I've done an FTP test, I've tried to just do 1 watt higher than Dillman, and I can't do it. So I've given up on that. And now I'm like, all right, I'm just going to put all my energy into durability.
All right. Just make sure you keep doing 1 more watt more durable than Dylan.
Well, this
Yeah.
has been a very durable podcast, but I think it's starting to peter out.
Yeah, I think so.
Any
All
ad
right.
reads right here at the end?
Yeah, who you want to talk about?
SILCA, Bike Tires Direct, Bolt
Nah.
Shave, Ketones,
Catalyst.
KETONEAID, we got
KETONEAID. What else?
bicycle accident law.
Bicycle accident law.
Oh, yeah.
What else?
Yeah, there we go. Oh, dude, I know. Aren't those mugs awesome?
Yeah. I never had a Yeti before. Too expensive for my taste. But now that we have lawyer sponsors, I got me a Yeti.